Now I'm still here, chopping it up with Shan Boodram, okay?
Hey.
And now joining us, he's a professor at Vanderbilt University and New York Times bestselling author whose latest book, Entertaining Race, Performing Blackness in America, is out now. Please welcome my brother and Beyonce's biggest fan, Dr. Reverend Michael Eric Dyson. Peace, King.
What's up, man?
Good to see you, man.
How you doing?
Now, I know you was backstage watching. Are any of these new dating terms and conditions really all that new? Because a lot of our uncles and grandfathers had a whole other family.
Yeah, I mean, Uncle Tupac, I get around. So much respect to those who break their neck, right?
That's right.
So, yeah,
That's right.
There's no doubt. I mean, look, people have been getting around. Papa was a Rolling Stone. No matter where he laid his hat was his home. So we've been doing the things before. New terms come into existence, sociological descriptions that talk about these particular behaviors, but the behavior itself ain't new. The style of it is new. The way in which it's public is new. And think about it. If old school creeping had internet around, boy, it would have been this. You know, I seen you on Instagram. Baby, I don't have no grams nowhere on me. so social media has changed the game.
That's
but
right.
yeah, so no, the phenomena is not new. Just the description of it is.
Well, let me ask you a question. For years, people felt like, the family was the backbone of the community or society. So what do these new normals say about society?
Look, I'm a person who believes in all kind of multifocal family organizations, right? You can have two mothers and a child. You can have two men and two fathers and a child. I'm for all of that. What is important, however, is stability and love.
That's right. I want to ask both of y'all this, Shan. Are these new relationship categories and definitions good or bad for the future of the black family structure?
Absolutely positive. One, it's a way to reject white heteronormative way of love and saying everybody has to fit into this style. So it forces people to have important conversations about the individuals and the cultures that are involved in the relationship. And what you were talking about before is something called monopoly, where one person is polyamorous and one person is monogamous, but usually that's rooted in patriarchy and in misogyny.
Why is poly the main ingredient to all of this?
Polyamory just translates into many loves.
Okay. What do you say, Doc?
Well, look, I think whatever works for people works for people. If you're talking about a patriarchal society where men determined from the very beginning what it would look like, that's one thing. If women are equal participants, that's all good too. The question is what happens, quote, to the kids. I tend to think that it's also important to have a base and a foundation where intimacy can be shared and gathered and given in a context of mutual respect and trust. If that's absent, I don't care how many, you just got more people to be miserable with.
Yeah, exactly.
Doc makes me think of something, though. Do you tell your kids about this when they get older? Do you tell them what you're into?
I definitely will. We're building it into the structure of how this family works the best, and that's the way that's communicated. Communication, I think, is such a fundamental part, and so is consent. What's really great about this community as well, too, is everything is a no until you get a yes. So there are no assumptions around what someone else will or won't do. And I think the same thing when it comes to communicating that to kids, that we are two consenting adults who are saying yes to this style of relationship. And we want your input as well, too, because you are part of this family.
So is it good or bad, Doc, that people are living so drastically different from past generations?
The evolution of forms of togetherness will be dictated by what the needs are of any particular individual and participant in a particular era. So if it works for you, that's fine. The question is, have we done studies to figure out what's the long-term effect? For instance, in old school relationships when kids were seen and not heard, or when they were beat half within an inch of their lives, we thought, well, it was good for me, it'll be good for you. Well, the jury's still out if it was good for you, if you ain't messed up, and then your children might be messed up. So that even of something like, what's the effect of observing these kind of polyamorous relationships on young people? Does it destabilize them? Does it give them a greater sense of participation? I'd love to see what the kind of material effects would be of that kind of togetherness.
Have there been studies on that, Shan?
There has been studies. So in this book called The New Psychology of Love, which I want to say I'm not a doctor because labels matter. I may be a doctor, but I'm not a doctor. But in The New Psychology of Love, they cite studies that say that children actually do grow up when they understand polyamory as a part of the way that the relationship functions. It's not a kept secret, that they can be just as happy, just as adjusted as monogamous couples.
Well, I don't want to have this conversation with the wife later on. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, it's just a show, baby. Don't even worry about it.